Good greetings everyone, I'm Rusty Dog and welcome to my guide on how to mine Motherlode asteroids. And yeah, let's not beat about the bush, this is about getting void opals and low temp diamonds and other stuff that's going to make you millions and millions of credits. So here it comes, this is not an exploit, so it's all legit. So I'm doing a video on it, and besides I was asked if I could do a video on this. There are a few videos out there on how to do this, but I'm going to show you my particular way, which I think is a pretty decent method. So the first thing you're going to concern yourself with is outfitting the ship. Now I've gone with an Aspect Explorer. I do have a Python which I could outfit better with 200 tons of cargo, but I'm gonna make this a little bit more new player friendly and work on a bit of a tighter budget. And the Aspect Explorer is a really good little ship that everybody should have one in their fleet, I think, because they're a very good little workhorse of a ship. And this one I've kitted out specifically for mining, and I'm going to go through the outfitting and I'm going to explain everything that you need to know, why we've got everything outfitted the way we have, and how to organize your fire groups in order. And then we're going to get out and do some actual mining. So let's take a look at the ship's outfitting. Okay, here we are then in outfitting, and let's start from the very top, hard points. So if you are going out mining for Motherlode asteroids only, then this is the outfitting you'll need, and that's the way I have the ship configured, by the way. It's just for Motherlode mining. It's not for subsurface mining, and it's not for standard mining with the mining laser. So you will not see a subsurface weapon or a subsurface laser, whatever it is. Yeah, that's not here at all. I can't remember the name of it now. Subsurface displacement thing, missile, whatever. You won't see that here. You will not see mining lasers here either. All you need is the seismic charge launcher to blow the asteroids up, and the abrasion blaster to pick bits off the surface as well. The rest, multi-cannon and pulse laser, is purely for defensive purposes. I'm not saying that this ship's in any fit state to be in a battle with a pirate or would-be pirate, but at least it gives me some form of defense, perhaps. If I'm attacked, I can maybe just fire and try and leave as quickly as possible. So yeah, you will need a seismic launcher. So the big class 2 one there, then whatever weaponry you're happy with, and on the very bottom here we just have the abrasion blaster. Nice and simple. Next up, utility mounts. For mining, you will need a pulse wave analyzer. That's it. That's all you need for mining. The rest, I've got a shield booster just to beef up my shields a little bit. I have a heatsink launcher, which is for defensive purposes, to make my ship cold if I'm under attack, maybe drop off their sensors, make myself harder to hit, and also a chaff launcher, which if they're using gimbaled missiles to attack me, then I'm not saying I'm ever going to get attacked, because that only happens if you're careless, but or when you're taking the stuff back and you don't avoid an interdiction, then you might need these. So it's handy to have them on there. You don't need anything else in these slots other when it comes to mining other than the pulse wave analyzer, so we may as well put these in. So that's how I've got this configured. Next, core internals, you can go with what you want really in here. I've got mine A-rated, except for the sensors, basically because I stay under the power limit with 5Ds, and I don't really need the 5As for the mining. So everything else is A-rated. I just happen to have the frameshift drive slightly engineered, but that's neither here nor there. There is one thing missing from this ship which might be notable, and that's in the optional internals, and there is no fuel scoop on this ship. So you make sure that wherever you're going to mine, it's within reach, and also there's a place to refuel and you can get back, or wherever you're going to, not necessarily get back to the station you took off from, but to go back to the station that you're going to be visiting to sell your goods at the highest price. So always keep an eye on your fuel. Try not to run out of fuel. Like where I'm going, I've got enough fuel to get there, but I won't have enough fuel to get back. So I'm either going to have to fuel there or somewhere close by, and then either come back here, or I will go to wherever station is offering the best prices. But always make sure that there's at least somewhere you can dock to refuel if you're not putting in a fuel scoop. Now you could go without, let's say, this cargo rack, which will drop you down to 72 tons, and put a fuel scoop in there. It's going to be a slow one, but at least it'll get you home. So that's up to you. I've chosen the all cargo route. You could, if you were brave enough, get rid of your shields and then put a fuel scoop in there. But I probably wouldn't advise that, especially if you're new to mining, because there are going to be occasions when you're going to be bumping into asteroids. It's going to happen to me. Even I'll be bumping into asteroids. So it's nice to have a little bit of protection on your ship. So yeah, from the top then, cargo rack straight away. So we've got 64 cargo instantly in one go, because the more cargo we have, the more we can carry back with us, and of course the more limpets we can carry as well. So collect a limpet controller, which will control the limpets going out collecting your stuff to save you doing it manually. A refinery to refine all the raw materials coming in and converting them to proper materials that go into your cargo hold. Bi-weave shields, you can go with standard if you want, but bi-weaves I find are good enough and they regenerate a lot faster. Class 3 and a Class 2 cargo rack. Prospector limpet controller only needs to be a Class 1 because you only need to send out one at a time, so you don't need anything more than a Class 1 prospector limpet, so don't waste your credits on anything higher than this. A detailed surface scanner is also required so that you can probe the bodies or the planet's rings, and so you can see what hotspots are there, so you know where to aim when you go in for your mining. So that's important. That's it. We are outfitted. Next thing, fire groups. Right, let's cover the fire groups. So, Fire Group 1, or Fire Group A, as it is now known, I have these in order. So, when you jump into the rings, the first thing you'll need, well actually before you jump into the rings, you're going to be using your detailed surface scanner to probe the rings to find the hotspots. Once you find a suitable one, let's face it, you're going to be looking for void opals, you're going to be looking for low temp diamonds, and if there's nothing there of those, then grandidierite and what's that other one that begins with B? I think it's beyond tight or something like that. Beyond tight, something like that. Yeah, but you're going to be looking for void opals, aren't you? We're not going to beat about the bush. So once you've got your hotspots, then you're going to be jumping into one of those hotspots, and you're going to be firing off your pulse wave scanner, and that's going to start identifying likely candidates of asteroids that you're going to be interested in. So we'll take a look at that later on. Then after that, once you've found your asteroid, you're going to be firing up a prospector limpet. So that's why we've got those in the next fire group. And once we've found that it has got a core, which we will know before firing off a prospector limpet. So let's remember that. I'll show you how to. I'll show you 100% way of finding a Motherlode asteroid that has a core. But yeah, once you fire your prospector limpet off, you'll be getting your collector limpets out and at the ready. So now that your limpets are out of the ship and at the ready with your cargo scoop open, you're going to switch to the next fire group and fire off seismic charges at the asteroid until you reach the optimum yield. Hopefully I can show you how to do that without messing it up myself. I know the method, but it doesn't mean I'll always get it right every time. And then in the next fire group is the abrasion blaster, which we use for picking off the bits from the surface as well. And I've also got the collector limpets on that fire group as well, because during this time when we're picking off bits off the surface and from the inside of the asteroid, you might find that as you're maneuvering your ship, some collector limpets may destroy themselves against parts of the asteroid, or if they can't get into the belly of your ship, they may just blow up for whatever reason. So it's always handy to have the collector limpet on that fire group as well, so you can just quickly fire another one out if need be. Then we have the last one, which is all about the weapons. The pulse laser and the 2 multi-cannons are on there. You can arrange these as you want, but I have them on the last one because also from fire group A, if you go into previous fire group, you'll be taken to this one anyway in one go. So that's how I have it organized, and I think that's probably the best way to do it, at least in my opinion. Okay, so now we have the ship set up, we need to find a place to go. So what we're looking for is a system that has ice rings, because ice rings is where the low temp diamonds and the void opals are. But also you're looking for rings that have got pristine reserves. I'm not 100% sure whether when you're doing this kind of mining, whether the reserve type is a factor, because you have common reserves, low reserves, and pristine reserves. I'm not really sure whether it's a factor here, but I'm going to act as if it does, or as if it is a factor. Now, if you've been playing Elite for a little while, that means you've visited quite a few systems. So in order to find a suitable place to go mining, and you can visit the common reserve ones as well and have a look for yourself and see if you can find anything. But what I do is I go to the visited stars and remove the not visited, and then I also go here and remove anything from here so that we don't have all these lines. So we've got a nice clean map. And then all the blue stars or the blue systems are ones that you've been to before, and that means that there'll be a system map available. And then you can pop into those system maps and you can look for planets that have got rings. There's nothing here, so we don't need that one. Let's try this one. Go into there. Now, if you already know of a system that's got pristine reserves with ice rings, then by all means, go there. But we need to go to the second tab and then just hover on these, and it will tell us common reserves, and it'll also tell us the type of ring. So there are ice rings here. And if you look at the diameters, we've got inner and outer radius. This one is 133 on the inner, 168 on the outer. This one's 168 on the inner and 377 on the outer. So that tells us that the icy ring is the largest one. So that will be this one here. So this is the ice ring. So that's the one you'll be probing for hotspots. But ideally, you want to look for pristine reserves, as I said. Now, bear in mind that if one here says common reserves, it's probably going to be true for all the other ones in that system. Now, I happen to know a couple of systems which you might want to try. The first one is Boran, B-O-R-A-N-N. That's where we're going to be going. And the other system is Delcar. There's a planet there which I can't remember which one it was. It might be Planet 5A or something. One of those is a very popular place. So check out the system of Delcar. But today we're going to be going to Boran. And the reason we're going there is because I happen to know that it has a couple of ring planets, but these, for example, oops, as you can see, pristine reserves, and we have an icy ring here on the outside. Now, I've already been here before, so when I probe the rings for the hotspots, when I go back there now, they're probably still going to show. But I'll still show you the procedure of how to highlight them anyway. Right, so once you've got your ship and once you've got your system that you want to go to, or maybe you've had to fly around system to system to system to keep looking for something suitable. But once you've found that, then we can get on our way and we can start approaching the rings. So let's go and do that. Right, so I'm now in the Boran system and I've come here to Garai Works because not only did I need to stock up on fuel for the return journey, and I thought I would do that now, but of course I forgot to do something which I should have done back at Magnus Gateway, but I can do it here, so it doesn't really make any difference. But don't forget to do what I just did, which is to stock up on limpets. So I've actually just done that. I went into here, fixed my ship, and I've stocked up on 45 limpets, which I think will be okay for today's video. Alright, so don't forget your limpets. They will act as your collectors and your prospectors. Okay, so I already have my destination marked, which is Boran A2, as it has the pristine icy rings. So I'm going to make my way over there, and I'll see you very shortly. Okay, so we have arrived here at Boran A2, and as you can see the hotspots are there because I've already scanned these rings before, but if you haven't, then you'll need to probe them. I'm going to show you how to do that anyway, but I won't be able to produce any more hotspots, but you're not going to see them unless you're in analysis mode. So let's just switch into analysis mode, and there they are. So they're all the ones that popped up when I scanned them before. So how do we do it? Well, we're going to switch the fire groups until we get to the surface scanner, which you can see there at the right hand side in the red. So now we want to approach the planet, approach the rings more accurately, until the out of range changes to too fast. And now we can back off. And it's on the surface scanner's on my primary fire, so let's go in, and then we just point to the rings. Now the inner ring is not the icy one, it's the outer one, so I'm going to go all the way out till it says miss, and then just come back in till it says ring, and then fire a probe. And then what would happen is the rings would scan all the way around, and then these hotspots would light up. Obviously that's not going to work for me here because I've already got those lit up. So all that's going to happen is that the probe is going to impact into the rings, and that's going to be that. Once you've done that, I thought that was another probe. I think it's a ship going out. So once we've done that, then we can search in the navigation panel. We can see all the hotspots. Once I've got to the top, quite why this is all the way down there I don't know. And we've got low temperature diamonds, which got a pretty good price on them. Alexandrite, platinum, that's a good seller. Grandidierite is a good seller as well. I don't know why my joystick is moving around. Let's see, so we have platinum, Void opals, of course, is the main one in terms of value. And then we have painite, which is also worth about 750,000 per ton. But the void opals are worth more, so we're going to jump into the void opals hotspot, and there it is. Okay, so on the approach then, you'll see I've got my pips just a default, which I think is okay. And stay in analysis mode for the rest of the journey here. For the rest of the mining, I would say. And we're just going to dive in. Now, as you get closer, if the yellow is too bright for you, just switch into combat mode temporarily until you get inside. But we'll dive in here. You don't need to head directly to the reticle. You can be anywhere in this yellow spot. But I'm going to head into the reticle anyway and find some thickish rings. Once I get under a megameter, I'm going to start slowing the ship down, because you don't want to jump in too quickly, because then you'll take a little bit of damage to your hull and some of your modules. But once we get under a megameter, I'm going to start backing off. Once I start seeing asteroids, I'm going to completely back down. There we go. And then I'm just going to increase the speed and have a shallow entry. There we go. Okay. Now the first thing that's going to happen when you jump in is some ships are going to appear on the sensor. Might take a little while, but we might be lucky and not get any at all. Let's just go in. I have landed quite a way out, 53 kilometers. Not quite sure why that is. So we'll go full pips to engines. Maybe it was a good thing to land that far away from the reticle, because that's probably the reason why I'm not seeing any ships at the moment. There we go. Now, if you jump out, let's say you've mined some materials, and then you jump out and jump back in again to create a new instance, please be wary that that is a risky move, because you will be creating a new instance, and therefore you'll have new ships trying to look for you. There may be pirate ships. The ones that are looking for you will be pirate ships, and then if they scan you and you've got stuff in your hold, you could be in trouble. Alright, so now we need to go into the first fire group and start firing off the pulse wave scanner. I'm going to try and skim across the top here. I'm not going to go deep in, but the crucial thing in order to find the Motherlode asteroids is to be in night vision mode. So let's click that on. And there are certain shapes of asteroid that will never be Motherlodes, and that's these ones here in the middle. The ones that look like they've got vertical or horizontal columns on them, if that makes any sense. Like this one as well, you can see there's like strips of... We've got strips of... there's a would-be pirate. But I'm not carrying anything. So yeah, those are like this one. You see these walnut-shaped things where it looks like they've got this horizontal formations on them. They'll never be. So if some of those light up in bright yellow, then ignore them anyway. All right, so let's fire off the pulse wave scanner and see if we can pick out anything bright. Now we're looking for the ones that light up, but ones that light up really, really bright. And like this one's lighting up bright, but as I said, this shape is never going to be a Motherlode asteroid. But it's certainly almost bright enough. Now you'll see when they shine, you'll get an initial brightness and then a secondary one. And the secondary one's not brighter than the first one, so we can pretty much move on from this one. And I'll just keep my finger on the pulse wave scanner so it's continuously running. And I think I'm going to have in fact no, let's face towards this one. I was going to start heading towards the target reticle. No, that one's not really showing up right, and it looks like it might be the wrong shape anyway. let's pop in just to investigate, but I don't think, yeah, it's one of those. It does have surface deposits on it by the looks of it. But I don't think this is what we're after. Okay, but I'm going to show you something while we're here. You see this surface deposit? Well, pretend it's not there. Look at that pattern behind. Looks like some weird growth. Well, that's what you're looking for. But you're looking for that on asteroids where the surface deposit's not there. I'm not saying it won't have surface deposits, but asteroids that have got that formation without a surface deposit being there, that's what you're looking for, because they are the fissures. So let's head that 30 kilometers towards the hotspot reticle, and that way we won't keep going in the same direction all the time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep hunting around, and when I find something which I think might be Motherlode asteroid, I'll be back. Alright, so we have a likely candidate here. Let's just pulse wave it and I'll show you. It lights up. Look at there's redness on the top. So that's a very good candidate. That's the kind of brightness you're looking for. And I can see in the distance it does have surface deposits, I believe. So again, that's another good sign. So let's go in and see if it's a Motherlode or not. So we're looking for a specific pattern on the surface, which is better seen in night mode, and it's the cracks of the fissures that we're looking for. And I think that might be one right there. Yes, it is. Okay, if we take night mode off, you'll see it a lot more clearer, but in most circumstances you won't see that so clear, but you can definitely see that there's cracks there very, very clearly. In fact, that's a very clear example of what it looks like. But sometimes the asteroid is in the shadow, or it's in a darker area like that one on the right hand side, and it's a bit more difficult to spot because the asteroid itself is darker, which is why I use night mode to highlight these. So there'll be more than one of these on the surface, but they'll all get highlighted in good time. So I'm just gonna have a quick look outside, and you don't need to do this, but I'm just gonna have a look around me. Okay, there's nothing behind me, so I can safely back up when I need to. Right, so now that we've found what we want, now we have to prospect it. Now then, let's get this done first. Fire this off, and then as the prospector limpet is flying out, we'll just target that. And then it should definitely say core detected. There it is. Avoid opals. All right, and there are the surface deposits highlighted. And we've also got the fissures highlighted here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we have to switch to the seismics in order to get the best possible yield. Now, there is a methodology to this, and I'm hoping that my methodology is going to work here. And I've also learned some new information, so I'm going to be putting that to the test and see if it's correct or not. Now, I will be getting the collector limpets out because that's the next stage, but rather than get them out now and waste their time, I'm just going to explain something. You'll see here that as we select the asteroid fissures, they've got different strengths. You'll see there on the right hand side, it says asteroid fissure on the left hand side now on my panel, average strength. This one, high strength, as you can see on the right hand side there, low strength, low, high, low. Now, if you think that putting a high yield seismic charge into a high strength fissure is the right thing to do, then you might be wrong. I think it's the other way around. For maximum damage, I think we need to put a high strength charge into a low strength fissure. And for minimum damage, we want to reverse that by putting a low charge into a high strength fissure. So once we fire the first one off, then the timer counts down from, I think it's 2 minutes, and that's how long we've got to place all the charges. If we get them all done in a good amount of time, then we can maybe detonate earlier, because we'll have the option on one of the asteroid fissures to go across into the where it says asteroid fissure with the diagram. Underneath there'll be an option that says detonate now. If we go over, we can also remove the detonations, but I haven't really done that so much, so I don't really want to show you that. I'm going to stay away from the average strength ones at the moment, but I'm guessing an average yield seismic charge in an average strength will create average damage, and that a high seismic charge in an average and a low seismic charge in an average might create the same. I think it's all going to be average no matter what you do, but don't quote me on that. Alright, so the next thing we're going to have to do is get the collector limpets out, ready and waiting. So I'm going to open the cargo scoop just so that that's ready, and we're going to get the collector limpets out, 3 of them.
Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone.
Alright, so that's 3 out. Now we're going to switch to the seismics, and I'm going to go to let's do the most damage first. So obviously, as I said, the most damage is putting a let's get this right. So, right, a high seismic charge in a low strength fissure. So there's a low strength fissure. So let's just navigate around. Make sure you have a balance between engines and shields on here, because you're going to need to protect your ship against any knocks here. So this is a low strength, so we're going to go high yield on this one. Now the way we measure high yield, low yield and all that with the charges is if you look at the target reticle, you'll see 3 dotted lines going up there. So the first, as it fills up the first line, that's low, second is average or medium, and then third is obviously high. I'm not sure that this is targeting the right fissure here. It's lit up, but I don't know what it's targeting here. It must be this one, I guess. No, there's not actually a target behind it, but is that 400 meters away, really? Yeah, it is. Okay. Right, so I'm hoping this is right, actually, because if it isn't, no, let's do this one. So the one I've got targeted is low strength. So we're going to stick a high. It's really weird, the targeting on this. Okay. It doesn't actually target, but you've got to target the cracks. So let's going to go high strength on this one. So we're going to hold the trigger down all the way. And there we go.
Sequence initiated.
So now we're going to go for, let's go average, and we'll do an average one. Because you'll see that damage sent it up 3, so yeah, maybe let's do another low strength. And we'll send off another high one, because you can see on the graph there it only went up by 3 levels. So we need to get it up at least another 3. This is really weird targeting though. Okay, so now we need to do a very low strength one. So we've got a high strength fisher next. And we're going to do a low seismic charge on that one in order to get the least damage, because we don't want much now. I've got 45 seconds in which to do it. Okay. I've got a feeling that I'm either going to run out of time, which is something I really never do, but I guess because I'm talking at the same time, then I am going to run out of time.
Detonation in 10 seconds.
Yeah, we got it. Full shields and reverse. Right, now, I didn't get back far enough, but my collector limpets are now going after what's been released, which is a sizable amount. Now, you'll see different icons here. These are the broken off segments, and these are the surface ones. So, I'm going to start targeting the surface ones, which means switching to the abrasion blaster, and then we'll target the ones that are on the surface. Now, you don't need to target them in order to break them off. But at least it gives you a clearer picture of where they are. So all these little like snowflake icons, if you want to let's call them icons, turn to blue when you can see them more clear. You just start breaking those off. Blue means they're in line of sight. Now, as you see that my ship's gone inside where the asteroid's blown up, because it's an ice asteroid, or an asteroid as I call it. The ship's gone really cold now, it's at 2%. Now that's got an added advantage, because my ship is really cold now. If any would-be pirates come along, my ship will be pretty much invisible to their sensors because I'm so cold. Another thing to do while you're doing this is make sure that the belly of your ship is always clear underneath, so that the limpets don't get blocked in their path to get you. Not to get you. They don't get blocked in their path in order to deliver the goods, because they can crash into asteroids and stuff like that, bits and pieces. So try and make sure that the belly of the ship is clear. I don't know if there's anything more, is there? One more, and I've got it targeted, and it's just that one. So I'm just going to keep the belly of the ship. Trying to. It's very difficult. You don't know if there's an asteroid to your left. This will be great in VR, because then you can see if there's asteroids around you, but I'm not in VR at the moment, so I'm just. You can keep an eye on your sensors as well. That would help. But this is why you ideally need shields. Now let's see if it goes and picks that last one up. It says no valid connection targets, and yet there's 3 out there. So if I have to go and pick it up myself, I will. Because the collector limpets have all gone, so we'll get that one out. This one might expire now because I had it targeted. We'll see what happens.
Collector limpet expired. Programming limpet.
So we'll send one more out and go and pick up the other 2. I could have done it manually just to save a limpet, but I'm fine. And as you can see, the ship's still at 2% heat signature, so it's really, really cold. Okay, so that's that asteroid mined. And that's how it's done. Alright, so let's take a look then. So I have managed to gain from that 15 void opals. Now I know that a good selling price for void opals is around 1.695 million each. So if I multiply that by 15, then that should have netted me around 25.5 million for this. So that's what we've got, 25.5 million. And we've got plenty of cargo capacity still to go. Don't forget to keep using those limpets and be careful that you don't run out of cargo space because you've got too many limpets in there as well. Right, so that's how that's done. The next step will be to go and sell them. Actually, the next step, which is probably what you'll want to do, is to go and find another one and fill your cargo hold with more stuff. And you're going to keep filling it with more and more and more and more and more until you've got enough. Then you go and sell. As you're going from here to your selling place, pirates will be probably hunting you, so you know, be prepared for that you're going to need to escape their interdictions or at least have enough speed to get away from them. I do have some weapons on the ship, as you know, but it's not really going to help me too much. But they're there anyway, just in case of anything. Alright, so we're going to set the fire groups back to A and start pulse waving again. And then I'm just going to go out and find another Motherlode asteroid and repeat the exact same procedure as what I did last time. So again, look, when you find the fissures on the asteroid, the low strength ones do the most damage. So a high strength seismic charge inside a low strength fissure does the most damage, and a low strength seismic charge inside a high strength fissure does the least damage, and average does average. So you can learn, you know, with practice how to balance it so that the graph of the amount of yield that you're seeing goes up to the blue zone. I forgot to mention that. It has to go to the blue zone. Anything over that or anything under that, when it detonates, and you'll still get the goods when it blows up, but you won't get as many. When you get an optimum yield, when the asteroid blows up, it'll give you the most loot because you got the optimum charge. If you blow it up too less, you don't get enough. If you blow it up too much, you don't get enough. But if you blow it up just right, in the Goldilocks zone, as we would say, that's where it needs to be, then you'll be fine. Optimum yield is what you're after. So yeah, don't plant too many tough ones or high ones, and don't plant too many low ones. Just try and get it just right. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you've got the technique, you should be okay to go. Right, so now let's imagine we have either a full load or enough where we want to go back and sell it. Let me just have a quick look at this one before we do that. We had one showing up quite bright here. It doesn't mean it's a Motherlode, but we'll take a look. I don't think it is. I don't think it was bright, but I don't think it's bright enough. I'm not seeing any surface deposits on it either. So this is not one. Alright, so let's now pretend that we've got enough and we're going to go and sell them. So let's move on to that stage. Okay, so now we're going to visit this website, EDDB, and the full address for the website is eddb.io. eddb.io will bring you here, and this has a wealth of information all about stuff in the game: systems, stations, faction, commodities, bodies, single hop routes. So you've got route finder stuff, finding commodities. It's full of stuff. We need to be here. So we can get there by clicking there or clicking up here. So we'll go to commodities, because now we need to know where to sell. Where to sell our stuff to. So we go to minerals, then you click on what you've got in your ship. So I just happen to have void opal, so we're going to click there. And I'm going to type in here my current system, although it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be going to the place that's got the best price anyway. So it's for buying, so I've got it on buy. And we'll see here that the best price is HIP 15062. But I don't mind selling it slightly lower at either of these prices, you know, if the place is closer to me. So I think if I take a look at the game, so I've got either WattU, Kronos, and HIP 15062.
Expired.
So let's switch back to the game, and let's take a look in the galaxy map and see if we can find. Be careful that no pirates are coming into this instance. Yeah, now that's the thing. If you decide, oh, I'm not finding any Motherlode asteroids, I think I'll jump out and jump back in and create a new instance. As I've said before, new pirates will appear, so you maybe need to boost away from them, or make sure they don't follow you, or if they scan you, they're going to find your stuff in your cargo hold and they're going to give you trouble. Okay, so this place is 197 light years away. Now bear in mind I do not have a fuel scoop, but it looks like I can make it there. I'm not quite sure how many jumps that's going to be. 8 jumps. 8 jumps to get the best price in town. The other place was either, which looks further away, and it is, so we won't bother with that. WattU is another one. As you can see, I've been there before. 157 away, so that is 6 jumps. So 2 less jumps, and for the price difference of 30,000 per ton, I'm not really too bothered. So this looks like the best place so far, and Kronos, which is the what they're called, the Klingon homeworld. Yeah. So this is 5 jumps. So 5 jumps to Kronos, and we can go to Evans Hub or Walter Refinery. And it's pretty much the same price, 1,659,543. So I'm going to choose this place because it has the least jumps, and that means I've got the less chance of being jumped by pirates. Because once we leave here, that's it. Now you're probably going to want to stay here and get some more, which is fine. You should know the method now. But I'm going to go off and sell my stuff. Alright, so here we are in the Evans Hub in the Kronos system. Now I've landed on a platform and I've decided to come into the hangar because it's a lot quieter. There's plenty of sound effects going on up there. So we're down here. Oh, the sound effects are down here as well. Okay, never mind. Right, so here we go then. We're just going to sell our refuel as well, and also restock. If we go into advanced, we can also top up our limpets back to 45. Ready for the next run, and we're going to go into commodities, into sell, because that's what you want to do. And we're going to come down, and there it is. It tells us we've got 15 void opals, so we're going to click on that. There's the price per unit, and there's the profit, 24.893 million. Now don't forget, void opals isn't the only thing you can be going after. I mean, any of those exotic minerals, low temperature diamonds will serve you well, painite will serve you well, grandidierite, and the other one which I always have trouble pronouncing, This one, Benitoite. There you go, Benitoite. You can see the selling prices here. Look, 1.1 million for that. So yeah, hey, if you come across that, well, why not? Grandidierite, it's just over 750,000. Low temp diamonds is also this, can be around that price and more. I think low temp diamonds you can get up to 1.2 million if you go to the right station. Painite, as well, is around 750,000 per ton. So they're all very lucrative. And this one, Surrender Bite. You can see from the market prices. In fact, this station on its own, this Evans Hub in Kronos, is giving away some good prices. Not always. The low temperature diamonds price isn't the best, but it's not bad. Well, I say that. It's like I said, you can get this for 1.1 million, I think, or 1.2. But other stuff, Grandidierite, good price. This Benitoite, also a good price. Yeah. So there we go. We made almost 25 million just off one asteroid. Anyway, despite that we made a lot of money, if you're a new guy to the game, please don't rush through the game. Don't think it's all about credits and making hundreds of millions so you can buy the big ships. Don't miss out on the fundamentals of the game. Go through the game in stages. Get your ASP, get your Type 7, get your Vulture and your federal dropships. And once you've got your rank, and get your Pythons, work your way up. Don't just jump straight to an Anaconda, because you're going to miss out all the other ships in between, the Alliance Chieftain and Challenger ships. There's some great ships to be had and have fun with. So while I've shown you how to mine and how to do Motherlode mining, obviously if you're searching for the exotic minerals, it is very lucrative. But I would advise, again, as a veteran player, I would definitely advise against rushing through the game and making it all about credits, because it isn't, and you might regret it. I know that if looking back now, I didn't rush through it. It took me a year before I got my Anaconda. But I know, looking back now, if I'd rushed through and just went straight to the Anaconda in like a couple of days, which you couldn't do back then, but you can now, I wouldn't have felt satisfied. You know, I'm 4 years into the game now, and I wouldn't have felt satisfied. So I would have felt like I'd missed out on a lot of that journey, because the Elite Dangerous, your career in Elite Dangerous is all about the journey. You know, it's not about credits. Credits are only useful for buying ships, buying modules, and paying off bounties and fines. That's it. Pretty much, that's it. There's so much more to the game than that. So if you're Motherlode mining, it doesn't have to be for the big stuff. You can do it for the smaller stuff as well, just to get the practice in. You know. And I say that because if you go straight for the heavy stuff, and then you're coming back with a big expensive load, and then you get pirated because you've only been in the game for a while, and maybe you don't escape interdiction and you get killed, you're going to be a lot more peed off about that. So go for coltan and gallite and indite and stuff like that, or something like monazite or musgravite. Go for those things, because you know, get yourself some practicing. Once you feel confident getting the ship back in one piece, then start filling up with the more lucrative stuff if you want. But even if you make a lot of money, as I'm saying, you don't have to spend it all at once. You don't need to just go for an A-rated Anaconda, and you know, you need experience in the game. This is just my advice. I think if you jump straight to an Anaconda, you're going to get bored with the game very quickly. Work your way through. There's loads of ships to be had fun with. And yeah, I know you're thinking, well, I'll buy an Anaconda, then I can go down and buy the smaller ships. But you still won't have had the journey up. You still won't have had that. The money will give you your options. You'll have more options. But I can't tell you how to play the game. I can just advise you as I would call myself a veteran player, since I've been in it from the start. Do not rush through this game. It's not the type of game that's meant to be rushed. It's not one of those games, where you finish it in 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 hours, 30 hours of gameplay. It's not a Call of Duty. It's not that kind of thing. You're going to spend many, 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 many hours in Elite Dangerous. So stretch it out. Don't rush to the big ships. You'll regret it later on. Trust me, you will. Play your career through as if it was a real career, and enjoy the game. Enjoy the progress going through. You'll get a lot more satisfaction. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope it's helped, and happy mining. See you next time. Bye for now.